Alrighty, have fun. Hopefully, guys, you can pick this up here on the camera, audio. I'm just doing an imprimatura here, putting this base coat down, toning the canvas. You heard me say something like, okay, have fun. Well, that was the wife leaving to go to the dentist. So she's got an appointment this afternoon, so we're probably not going to say anything on the video, just let you see what I'm doing. But anywho, we're getting this imprimatura on here. What I used was some, I had some leftover transparent red oxide in my little container. This is like a little, this actually is a little container that some deli ham or turkey came in, and I just saved it. And I had some leftover transparent red oxide, just a little bit in there, and I added some transparent yellow oxide and a little bit of yellow ochre. And I wish I'd actually done this maybe in a yellow ochre, had maybe a little golden color to it. And you can see a little bit on this side over here. It's got more of a, golden color. But this is the painting that I'm working on for my farming project that I do a giveaway as a gift to farmers in Georgia as a token of appreciation for all the things that they do for us in raising crops and the trials and tribulations that they go through day in, day out, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They don't take weekends off like we do in our 9-to-5, 5-day-a-week jobs. But I wanted to do this. I started this little project, or giving paintings, doing paintings and giving them away to farmers a couple years or so ago. But this is one that I'm hoping that will turn out extremely well. I've got it all sketched in. I put the workable fixative on it last night, sprayed it in. It's good and dry. And so I'm just kind of putting this coat on here to get the canvas kind of covered. And I got about 4 different scenes on this canvas. And so each corner has a different scene in it. Two of them, this corner and this corner, have chicken houses in it, but they're different. It's different locations, different farms. This is the son's over here farm area, and this is the dad's farm area, in different locations. Also has the cows up here. They have some hay that they do, hay bales and things like that. And in the middle, I've got the sign of the family farm right there in the middle. So I'm just kind of adding this in, and it's going to be a little difficult to kind of wipe away the lights and the darks on this bad boy. So what I may do is just try to get a good tone on the canvas, and then later come in and do some lights and darks and things like that. And I may probably do it a little bit because I got a hay bale over here, and I may add a little bit more dark on that. And just trying to get this thing stained and colored in a little bit right in here. I have some cows right up here, right in this area. Go in with a little bit thicker paint. Sometimes what I'll do is I thicken up the paint a little bit, so I don't. What I did was I added a lot of Gamsol odorless mineral spirits to this here, and it thinned out the paint. It's pretty soupy, as you can tell just by applying it here. And I'm pleased with how it's turning out. And I'm going to come in here and I'll probably wipe away the majority of this paint. Like I said, I'm just trying to get it. I'm hoping this warmth will come through in the painting. I've got some skies. I've got a little bit of sky here, a little bit down here, a little bit over here. But it's also, I got a hay field and hay bales and, a field up here in this area and some grass down here. And of course, I got the cows and stuff over there. So, yeah, I'm hoping that the warmth will come through on in the final painting. But I'm going to try to wipe some of this off. Just also, it allows me to see my sketch a little bit better. Okay. So I'm just taking, this is an old towel we had from years ago. And I like to keep things like that as rags that I use, because I'm using oil paint here. And I can just take it and just wipe it right off with this towel. And you got to be careful sometimes in the cloths that you use, because if you're not careful, then they'll leave a lot of lint, dust, particles, things like that. So I'm just trying to get this all toned in a little bit here. This shouldn't take long. To be honest, it shouldn't take long for all this to dry. I'm just going to wipe out where the cows are. I'm not too worried about that. I do know that I'm going to have some sky up here, so I'm going to try to take out some of this up here at the top. We got a little tree, got some clouds in the sky over here on this side. I'll just kind of lighten that up a little bit there. And I'll also have some sky back over in here, down in here a little bit, and probably a little bit of sky like right up into here as well. So just kind of lighten that up a little bit where I know some of the sky is going to be, and try to even this out a little bit. For some of my paintings, especially when I do marshlands of the Georgia coast, which if you follow me and know me, then you know I love the coast of Georgia. I love painting the marshlands on Jekyll Island, St. Simons, Brunswick, Darien, Georgia. And that's what I'm passionate about. One of the things I'm passionate about, painting, okay? And sometimes I'll do around the edges as well. Just get all that in like that. And that's got my canvas toned. Seeing like a little streak right here, probably from the rag somehow in there. And up here too. Probably is some kind of rough little corner. One of the things you have to be careful of is this canvas has a brace right down the middle. And if you press too much when you're painting, you can put a crease in your canvas, and that crease will show when in your painting. So you got to be extremely careful there. One of the things I like to do is I try to tighten the canvas as much as I can and make it like a drum, so it doesn't have much play in it. So I'm not pressing up against that. Now, one of the things, the tips that you can do is you can take foam board or cardboard, and you can cut it to the size of your canvas and slide it in the back, so when you are painting, it's kind of pressing up against that, and it kind of spreads things out, distributes the pressure a little bit to where you're not putting a lot of pressure where that wood support piece is. And I've done that before, and I've also inadvertently, pressed too hard, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's start over. I don't know of anything you can do to kind of fix that, okay? But anyway, I've got that toned here, and I may come in, sometimes I may come in with another brush, an old brush that I may have, and I'll add a little bit of paint to it. See if I can get some kind of out on because right in here is where the hay bales are. I'm going to come in here with a little bit darker, okay, like so. I got a couple of hay bales. Well, I call them hay bales. They're actually rolls of hay, okay, so they're not but hay bales. There are some hay bales on this picture here that I'm going to paint, this drawing, so I do have some on there, okay. I got another round one over here. I'm just adding some darker color, getting the shape in a little bit. I do have a few little hay bales over here. These are actually bales. They have a tractor that comes along and puts these bales out. I don't know if there's 4 or 6, together, and they have a machine that comes along with actually one of the tractors with kind of like a lift on it, and they're actually able to load that up on their trailer and take it to wherever they're storing it. In fact, tell you a quick little story. On my way back out to this family's farm, I had visited and took a lot of pictures and got to meet the son and dad and everything. And so the next day, they told me, the dad said, come on back because we're going to be cutting the hay and you can see some hay bales. I said, great. So I came on back and I actually followed the son to the house, caught up with him right before turning into the driveway there to take the trailer full of hay, which they cut hay and did it over at his place, and he was bringing it over to store it at his dad's place. Now I've got some trees lined right back here, and I'm just getting this in a little bit right here, a little dark right through there. And I could tell I've got it looks like I had more of the transparent red oxide in this mixture than my transparent yellow oxide, which unfortunately, it is what it is. I do have some trees, some dark trees back over here. Up on the hill, there's some chicken houses, and so I'm just putting in some dark over here and some shapes, for where the trees are going to go back here. And I don't want to mess with it too much because I might need to get my glasses on because I don't want to cover up any of the chicken houses back here. My little sketch, because I'm having a hard time seeing it without my glasses on, so I don't want to mess up anything. Back up through here. Okay, just got some trees back up there. So, okay, and I got a tree trunk over here. So I was going to come in here with some color, and darken that in a little bit. Get my shape in there, my dark in there. My darkest darks are going to be in these trees here. Okay. And I do have a couple of cows, not cowls. A couple of black cows. They raise cattle, and get a little bit of color there. I'm not going to do too much because I don't want to take away from my drawing. I might cover it up if I get too much paint on there. Okay. I do have some trees down in here. On this side, over in here, I've got some. I got a chicken house down here in the bottom, so I want to make sure that I don't cover up my drawing. Got some barns up on the hill over here. So I just want to make sure that kind of get these little shapes in here where some of these trees are going. Okay. All right. So that's all I'm going to do today on this. I do have some land over here. I've got some trees and everything. I've got some land that slopes down. I've got a little pond back in here. There is like a little line that kind of comes across through here. I'm just going to go ahead and kind of put a little bit more color like right there. Okay. Let's clean this up a little bit with my rag. part of the wet rag there, and just maybe try to smooth that out just a little bit right there. All right, that's pretty good. All right, so that's all I'm going to do right now. I'm going to have some clouds in there, so I'm going to let this dry and let it dry, I don't know, several days. I want it to be good and dry, so when it's time to start applying my actual paint, everything will be good and dry. I use this little brush here. This is a little brush. It's about a 3-inch brush. I probably got it down at Lowe's or at Walmart. No endorsement there, but they're pretty cheap, less than $2. And I'll just throw this brush away. You know, I just use it to apply the paint. Now because it's a large canvas. Now I have used brushes like this. This is an old flat that I have, you know, I have used brushes like this for smaller stuff, and that works pretty good. And I have used, I think I've even used this little brush. I don't know how it got this. I don't know how it got this little end to it. It's kind of at an angle. I don't know if I bought it that way or what, but I've used that to scrub some colors in. And these are just old brushes that maybe I used them and they wore down. Instead of throwing them away, I can just use them for, you know, the first stages of the painting, getting the imprimatura on there. Okay. And like I said, I just used the Tupperware bowl. And the good thing about that is what I do is I'll clean up the edge and everything. And you see I've got gloves on because it gets it's messy. And I made a mess over here on the easel. But I'll clean all this up and I'll put a little coat of Vaseline all the way around it because it helps seal it to keep moisture, air from getting in there to dry out this paint. Because it was impressed that the paint was still pretty, you know, it hadn't dried out or anything, which was great. So, but anyway, thanks guys for tuning in. Appreciate it. Check back later because we're going to be painting this bad boy and getting some color on it, and you don't want to miss that. Thanks so much. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and if you'd like to see something else, drop me a note or a comment below, and I'll be glad to do my best to cover that for you. But anyway, take care everybody, and we'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye now.